What's good, guys? How you all doing, my fellow peasants? Part 2 of 3 of this little mini trilogy of theory goodness. This is part 2 of 3. I'm going to say this at the start of each one of these 3 videos. As a disclaimer, if you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch part 1. It's the first link in the description. I'll probably also put a link floating around the screen somewhere. Go watch that first, because you'll need to see that for this to make any sense. It's kind of a follow-on. That's out the way, let's get into it. So I covered the weapons in the last video. Now I'm going to go on to the summons side of it, because some new awesome theories have emerged from that side. Now what I want to start with is, in the mother video I spoke about all the summons representing certain regions, or astrals. I should probably get used to using that term now. Astrals. So Titan representing Dusky, or the region of Dusky, and therefore in turn being revered by Lestalum. Ifrit by Solheim, Niflheim for Shiva, Leviathan for Ortisia, etc, etc. And also had the Cerberus Fenrir kind of mix up for Tenebrae. Now, like I said in my last video, Tabitha did say that the summons don't directly fight for these nations, but like I also said in the last video, it kind of makes sense that they still pay homage to their local astral. So I do still see the thematic connections there, and it still does tie in with what my theory for what summon we could see appear for Lucis, the kingdom of Lucis, for Insomnia, for Noctis' kingdom. In the sister video, the mother video, I said Diablos. I thought it was most likely to be Diablos, and I've been thinking on that a bit harder, and I still think it could be Diablos. In fact, I found a bit of information that supports it, and it came in the form of Amano's artwork on Final Fantasy 15. There was a figure that most, or pretty much everyone, is saying is Diablos. This demonic black figure, I'm feeling Diablos from that very strongly. So I just wanted to point that out, sort of a backup, that I really do think Diablos might be the representative astral for the kingdom of Lucis. But I also got thinking about what other astrals there could be, because like I said, we've got the connection of dark, the darkness, the night becoming dark. When they go back to Lucis, it'll be at the end of the game. That's when night will be blackest. They've got their Black Kingsglaive outfits, Black Knights, skull emblems as the nation's sort of sigil. What other ones could it be? So you've got your Grim Reaper, your basic Grim Reaper. Could it be that summon? Could it also be, and this is an odd one that I didn't consider, but Doom Train. Doom Train. Looking at Amano's artwork, there's this figure, you see the regalia, that's definitely the regalia above it, and you see the regalia's driving over something that looks like it could be Doom Train. And Doom Train is of course a summon that represents death, so that's quite a strong one that it could be. There's also Hades. Hades is quite a good one. I mean, we know we've got Cerberus in the game, in the Kingsglaive, so being that Hades is Cerberus's owner, if you like, could it simply be Hades? And then there was this one that cropped up, this summon, and I kind of thought about it at the time I said Diablos, but back then I couldn't make the connection, and I don't know why, and that was Odin. That was Odin. Now, Odin does actually appear in Amano's artwork. That is most definitely, I'm confident that is Odin. So that's exciting news, guys, that Odin is almost definitely at some point going to make an appearance. Or he could be one of the main summons. We could be seeing a fuck off giant, colossal sized Odin running around the Final Fantasy 15. Man, that'd be absolutely dope. But I couldn't work out how Odin would represent Lucis at the time, and I don't know why. And it's kind of silly, because Odin has always represented, he is a god of wisdom and war. His Xantasuken, if that's Xantasuken, I think. Man, I'm so fucking bad with pronunciation. It's always been an executioner type move. He's always been seen as sort of an executioner type summon. So, you know, he does represent death in a way, I suppose. But then it clicked. It only clicked after I did the video again. My favourite Final Fantasy, Type 0, or my second favourite is Type 0. FF7 is my favourite, Type 0 is my second. I know that seems weird to some people, most people don't have a massive love for Type 0, but fucking Type 0 is one of my favourite Final Fantasy games. For me personally, in the franchise, I think it's a dope game. Odin in Final Fantasy Type 0. He is an all black, his horse is black, his armor's black, he is black. He has a skull for a head. He has a skull for a head. Now that ties in every way, shape and form with the thematic themes of Lucis. So why I didn't think Odin, it could well be Odin. In fact, now I'm kind of even feeling Odin over Diablos, because Odin would also represent the sort of king aspect. Odin is a king, you know, he is a god king. He sits on a throne. Noctis is returning to reclaim his throne. You see where I'm going with it. So Odin as the final summon, or Diablos, it could be one or the other. Fuck, it's exciting shit. I am happy with either or, I'm happy. Now the second part of the summons video I'm going to do, and this was another theory that emerged, and honestly this got my heart racing. It was already racing after my weapons theory, and the person I need to give most credit to this is Trevin Chandler. Yep, name dropping again, fucking name dropping throughout this series. He pointed out that he thought the figures in the mist could actually be not the weapons but the Knights of the Round. Now that never even crossed my mind, and so although I was convinced that the weapons were the shadows in the mist, I looked into it and holy shit, there is definitely something there, that these could in fact be the Knights of the Round. And what I want to point out, and what I said about this video, these pictures of the mist, is this picture of the shadows in the mist, the one we saw in the Dawn trailer, is quite clearly not the same as these three Colossi figures that we see in the game case, Matt Kishimoto's game case that we're getting here in the West. They are clearly standing in a region. It's kind of like this dust sky, but it's not. Matt Kishimoto did say that the region is very, very important, but obviously it's not Insomnia. And looking at these two pictures, they're quite clearly not the same. So I got looking at the two pictures, you know, the one in the middle, I was convinced that was Emerald Weapon. It has the kind of shape, the kind of outline, but with this particular video, it was the two on the outside that really just did not look like weapons. They don't look like the shapes of weapons at all. They actually look like the shapes of people, of humanoids. They look like they have sort of normal heads, chests, shoulders and arms, and Knights of the Round. Knights of the Round. When he threw that out, I pulled up this picture of the Knights of the Round, and I can see it. I can actually fucking see it. Take the guy on the far left there, the sort of stout, kind of wide-chested guy with the high sort of pauldrons or shoulder pads. That could well be him on the left, and the same on the right. The same on the right. Another very stout, squared-off figure with sort of a chest plate, a helmeted head. A helmeted head. We've all got a helmeted head. And then the one in the middle, although that really did remind me of Emerald Weapon. Now I've got Knights of the Round in my head. It honestly could just be one of those figures with very high pauldrons. Now take this guy here with the locks, sort of the flowing blonde locks, or even the one with the little white locks, or even the one with the red locks. Think of what kind of shapes those could pull. And all of a sudden, I am now looking at this picture and thinking Knights of the Round. Now I'm looking at this picture and I'm still seeing Gaia's weapons. But now, looking at this picture, I'm not getting weapons anymore. I am getting Knights of the fucking Round. And there's a lot more that supports it than just the figures. Once again, I've got Chandler to thank for this. he went out and he pointed that a lot of the weapons Noctis are using are weapons that the Knights of the Round, or are named after Knights of the Round weapons. Just to name a few, because I mean I'm going to even butcher this pronunciation up, let alone try to do the rest. Rongaminiad, I butchered that. That was Arthur's spear, King Arthur's spear. Galatine, that was Gawain's sword. Cersace, that was Lancelot's sword, Sir Lancelot. Quecero was one of Sir Balin's swords. So there's the connection right there. Noctis is using Knights of the Round swords, weaponry, and what really connects it, and this is the clincher, is in one video, in one of the videos we saw that to get, I think it was the Great Sword, he had to go to a grave, a casket, a coffin of one of his ancestors, of one of Noctis's ancestors, and that is how he acquires one of these swords, the Great Sword. Like I said, I can't remember which one it is. So that means that, quite simply, if these swords, if these phantom blades that Noctis are using are blades of his ancestors, then that quite simply means that Noctis's ancestors are the Knights of the Round Table. Mind fucking blown. Final Fantasy 15 is laying it up so that the Knights of the Round Table are Noctis's ancestors, and you don't need to look any further than King Regis. Look at his full title, King Regis Calum the 13th. He is the 13th king, and how many Knights of the Round are there? 13. Is that a fucking coincidence? I think not. I think not. That means that Regis would make the 13th knight. He would, his death, if he was to die, he would become the 13th knight of the Round Table, if those are indeed those figures in the mist, the Knights of the Round Table. Now, I'm sorry Regis, I'm sorry bud, it wasn't looking good for you when they decided to cast Sean Bean as your voice actor. So, but with this detail on top of that, man, it does not bode well for you, Regis. I really hope you didn't invest too much in your royal pension, because I have a very strong feeling you're not going to be drawing on it any day soon. Or should I say ever. You're going to die, King Regis. Sorry, I just know it. I feel it in my bones. I will happily bet my mortgage on it. And one final set piece that supports this, if there's anyone doubtful, just look at the pose, the posture they decided at the end of the Dawn trailer. A very iconic pose that they decided to stick Regis in as those figures emerged from the mist over Insomnia. They decided to stick Regis in a pose where he's holding his sword point down with his hands on it. Now, is it any coincidence then that every single, or nearly every single poster that I look at for the Knights of the Round Table, the key, the main, the centre Knight of the Round, the head, the one who looks like the figurehead, is always stood with his sword point down. So that really sold it for me. I mean, I was already sold by this point. I'm super fucking sold. King Regis, he is the 13th Knight of the Round. They decided to stick him in that posture as those figures emerge. They look humanoid. Those are the Knights of the Round. Knights of the Round, FF15, fucking confirmed. I'm sold. Sold. Don't take this away from me, guys. I am sold and I am hype. And this is going to take me into my third video now, because once again, if the Knights of the Round are a summon in Final Fantasy 15, and we know that the summons are guardians of the planet, and it's summons versus weapons, that key point, remember, summons versus weapons, that means that the Knights of the Round will be squaring off against the weapons. It's possible, or the whole reason why Noctis is able to fight against the weapons is through the power. That's why the summons are lending their power to Noctis, if his ancestors are the Knights of the Round. Also why Titan, we saw in E3 that Titan is talking directly to Noctis, getting inside his head, so it looks like the summons, the guardians, are using Noctis as a way to protect the planet. That's what I'm getting. So what would count at that point is, in that case, why is Titan fighting Noctis? But I'm going to save that for my next video. Just remember, summons versus guardians, and the key question is, moving into video number 3, is if Regis is the 13th Knight of the Round. If human beings can be Knights of the Round, or if they can be summons, are they summons? Are humans in Final Fantasy 15 summons? Go to the next video. Go, 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 go!